So, lads, Project B is obviously a pretty big league, and it's one of those things where everyone is talking about it and where the money's coming from. Is it all coming from Saudi Arabia? And the reality is kind of like I saw it from Rachel Demita's video, where obviously she has much better connections than I do, and it seems like the reality is very close to what I would have said was what I had said from the start. And the reason why I said it from the start is that it was very they made it very clear where most of the money's coming from, and most of the money's coming from tech bros. It is what it is. Like, that is where they are getting their money. It's tech bros. And tech bros is like, if you guys don't know, they will spend money in the stupidest ways possible. So everyone's like, oh, where are they going to get the money for these players? Like, they're probably going to pay on average salary. It's the max salary is around 2 million. They're probably going to pay per year for 66 players based on salary, an average salary probably of about 600k. 600k when you include the max making 2 million. Maybe 600k on average. That by 60 players is what? Like 30 million? 30 million on salary. Obviously when they pay for all the travel and they do all of that type of thing, and the charter flights don't have to be for each team. You can or maybe you could honestly, but it's probably going to cost to run the entire league maybe 100 million a year. All of these tech bros and everyone, and again, there is, to say that there's no Saudi money is probably wrong. Like, they're obviously working with big Saudi events companies, but there probably is some Saudi money. Somebody investors somewhere is probably Saudi money. And like, it is what it is. Some of the investors almost certainly are. And I think it's one of those things where it's like we kind of know, if you look at any sport, there's probably some form of Saudi money or some form of bit of dodgy money somewhere in pretty much all sports. In pretty much all sports there is. And let's be real, like, when it comes to the amount of like money that there is in like in basketball, in the NBA, how much of that comes, the WNBA and NBA, how much of that comes from gambling? How much of that money comes from gambling? And obviously, look, there are different severities, but like obviously there are kind of ethical things with all money. But I will say this when it comes to Project B is like, it is tech bros, and if you guys don't understand why they're pumping money into it. So I've said it, the cost to run this league is about maybe 100 million a year. In the last 5 years, the cost for one WNBA team went from 2 million to, if you want to buy the Aces, it's probably going to cost you $500 million. From 2 million to $500 million. 2 million to $500 million. So basically, it has risen by $500 million. I think they are willing to build from nothing because you don't have to buy in. If all these tech bros, by the way, if all of these tech bros wanted to buy a WNBA team, they would be the cost for one WNBA team would probably be the same cost as, I think it's like about 400 million when you take into account buying the team and the relocation fee if you want to bring it to where you want to, and new expansion fees. You could run this entire league likely for 5 years for the cost of owning one WNBA team, with a chance that the WNBA could go bust. And when it comes to revenue for the WNBA, as a league, you only get 42% of the league revenue. You only bring in 42% of the league revenue. And then you divide 42% by what? If you're buying an expansion team, 18 teams. So I'm just going to get the calculator. Let's just say, I think, how many teams are there going to be next year? There's 15 teams next year. and there's 2 more teams, and they're probably going to add 3 more teams. So let's just say divide by 20 if these tech bros eventually want to get in. So it's 42 divided by 20. So it would cost about 5 years of running this league, and they would get 2% of the revenue of the WNBA per team goes to the teams, get about 2% each. But yeah, with Project B, you're gonna get the league's gonna get 100%. Like, and then also you own the entire league and you're putting money into it. But then eventually you might be able to sell franchises and you can get all that money fee if people want to buy the teams and buy the franchises and stuff. And that is what they're trying to do. Like, people thinking that this is some sports washing. This is not sports washing. This is people thinking they can make bank. And I would not be surprised if some form of the investment is from Saudi Arabia. Just like I wouldn't be surprised if there's if people that are a bit dodgy are investing in these things, because let's be real, that is why they're doing this. Like, this is not for the goodness of their heart. This is not like we're going to pay Cristiano Ronaldo $1 billion to go play in the Saudi league for no fans, basically as a sports washing thing. This is a league that the events company that run it is a Saudi-based events company. So they are probably paying, whether they're paying it in equity or they're paying the events company in dollars, they are paying a Saudi company. And if you want to say, oh, they're using a Saudi event company, let's get rid of this league, man, if that is what we're drawing the line on, like, it's crazy. The money is coming from tech bros that absolutely believe that they're going to be able to make a shitload of money from this. Not a little bit of money, an absolute shitload of money. That is what this league is. That is why they're doing it. Because it's a lot of tech bros who think that the amount of costs of like WNBA teams and women's sports are going to boom, which a lot of people do, which is why people are buying into the WNBA, which is why people are buying in and why people are so invested in all of these other things. But you also then have to take into account that how hard it is to buy a WNBA team. Even if you have the money, they won't let you. It has to be in a city they want. You're going to have to do all of these other things. You're going to have to invest $100 million in infrastructure, which is, to be fair, you probably do have to do that. You don't even have to do that for Project B. What am I talking about? Because it doesn't have a central base. It doesn't have to have a central base. And the ironic thing is that if this works and they try to make it like a Formula One thing, you're still going to be able to sell franchises, but these franchises don't need to have a home base. They don't need to have a home workout area. Like, it is one of those things where if it works out, the original investors are going to make a shitload of money on Project B. And if it doesn't work out, that's why it's a whole bunch of tech bros, because it's just part of their investment portfolio. It's a bunch of risk takers that are willing to risk a lot of money collectively, which individually isn't that much money, because they think that collectively they can double or triple their money. And the reality is they might be able to. So anyone being like, oh, this is a Saudi sports washing league. No, it's not. No, it's not. To say that there's zero money from the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund is unlikely. But to say that that's the majority is almost certainly wrong. Anyway, I'll see you guys.